Matrix, the first thing I said was 2.5 hours. It's too long. Oh man. And I went into it with an open mind, even though I heard, the reviews were not so favorable. All in all, I think the movie was decent, but no replay value for me. I still say to this day the first Matrix was the best, even though I'm not really just a huge Matrix fan like that in the first place. And I was kind of worried that I'm like, maybe I need to go back and watch the first three so I could understand what's going on. Because Matrix is already kind of a confusing story somewhat because it's so layered and all these hidden messages, and you probably need to go back and watch the movie multiple times. But yeah, I ain't doing that. The only thing I watch multiple times that's very layered is Lost, which is my favorite TV show of all time. So with this movie, there was a lot of recapping of the other movie. You saw different scenes layered throughout the movie. I think for somebody who hasn't watched it in a while, like myself, I think it was necessary, and I think it was too much. But some people complained about that. So I kind of got what was going on, as far as what led up to the events in the movie. But thing I did notice was the Wachowski brothers or the Wachowski sisters. Now, when did this happen? I am so behind. But yeah, it was just directed by Lena Wachowski. So there were gonna be some agenda-isms in this movie. And I kind of felt like they did that with Trinity, as she's supposed to be the cold one now. You know what I'm saying? And I guess the whole movie was, I guess, basically a love story. Neo getting back to Trinity, and when they become one, love conquers all and all that stuff like that. It kind of reminds me of that show that came on Fox. It was like a sort of a X-Men spinoff. I forgot what it was called. I think it was called The Gifted, I think. And the brother and sister, when they join hands, they created a strong force. So I think maybe they stole from that series, I'll be honest. So yeah. So as far as that is concerned, about a good bit of the movie, Trinity is not even in. Well, the Trinity that's asleep in the pod, the Trinity that's in the Matrix. Of course, she doesn't know she's Trinity at the moment because they're being controlled by the robots after the events of 3 or Revolution. Revelations? So after the events of that, but anyway, yeah. So Trinity is the one. So at the end of the movie, they're flying around together and all this stuff like that. So, and it just felt like the focus isn't on Neo anymore. It was kind of a balance 50-50 sorta, but yeah, and you saw it definitely throughout the movie, and because Neo kept referencing or doubting that he was the one, or I never believed I was the one, and things of that nature. So, but yeah, but pretty much towards the end of the movie, Trinity is the one. So I was kind of like, I guess, whatever. And it looked like they kind of opened themselves up for a sequel, perhaps, sort of, kind of, more than likely. Warner Bros. Got to get that back, so I think this is kind of a reset, sort of say. It was a definitely reset with some of these characters, like a whole cast of new characters. Basically, they got Neo out of his prison inside his mind, and then they get him out first, and then they're rescuing Trinity. And then there's this new Morpheus. That's what I really had the problem with. And I understand Lawrence Fishburne may not be in the physical shape anymore, So, it, I think they could have found something for him, but maybe it's deeper than that. I don't know. I mean, the other Morpheus, I guess he was cool, I guess. I don't know about all the loud suits, the red, the yellow. I'm like, really? But okay. But the thing I found interesting was in this Matrix that Morpheus was a former agent. So I thought that was a nice twist. And speaking of agents, Agent Smith, the guy that originally played him, was not in this movie, but his essence was in another form inside the Matrix in this movie. So uh, that was I would have rather seen the original guy that played him, but it was cool seeing Agent Smith back somewhat. Mr. Anderson. Um, but other than that, I think that's all I really have to say on the Matrix. Um, but yeah, it was cool, but it's not something that I'm going to return to. So let's talk about Spider-Man.